I am Errissa
and I Nuryuhanis in this news. The topic for our discussion today is Asian financial crisis. Financial crisis refer to currency crisis, stock market crisis, banking crisis, or any combination of them. It also differs in their origin, depth, and duration. In January 1997, East Asian country has been experiencing economic slowdown, collapse of asset prices, corporate and financial insolvency, and currency depreciation. Then, it unfolded with depreciation in currency values, decline in stock market values, and deterioration of aggregate economic activities.
To discuss more about this issue, we introduce our guest this morning, the Syed Mohammad Rozaimi, economist from Department of Economics, University Malaya, and Nurfarain, finance analyst. Before we start, we will connect with my colleague Hazna Kasim in interviewing with Yang Berbahagia, Datuk Nur Amalina, Minister of Finance, at her office. We will talk directly with Finance Minister about Asian financial crisis. How are you, baby?
I am fine.
Can you explain briefly what causes the crisis?
Okay, first and foremost, the main causes of the Asian financial crisis can be considered to be excessive investment financed by excessive external saving. Excess investment in a country raises the inflation rate, and the increase in the external saving produce a bubble in the economy, resulting in unemployment later. The other causes is cannot sustain a healthy economy. These stock saving rates are high, earn lower marginal return. Invest in sector that is non-tradable and had diminishing return. Currency appreciation is one of the causes, which ovulation of currency just waiting for time for correction. For example, made export less competitive compared to China and Taiwan. Lastly, the causes of financial crisis are the over-reliance on international portfolio investment for future financing growth. It was lack of adequate financial infrastructure and mismanagement of capital.
Thank you, YB, for being willing to spend your time. I am Hazrina Kasim, reported back to the studio. Errissa? Alright, thanks to Hazrina Kasim, who has interviewed YB Datuk Nur Amalina, Minister of Finance. With us first, Dr. Syed Mohammad Rozaimi. Can you explain how Malaysia's response to this crisis?
Thank you to Ms. Errissa and Ms. News for inviting me for this slot. Okay, now I would like to explain about how Malaysia respond to the Asian financial crisis. So there are four, which are monetary policy response, fiscal policy response, capital control, and dana harta. Okay, first we go to monetary policy response. Okay, at first Bank Negara Malaysia did not implement a tight monetary policy, although IMF was advised to use their Bank Negara Malaysia to raise their interest rate to defend the currency. But after reviewing the volatile of price ringgit, so Bank Negara Malaysia decide to raise their interest rate. The aim for raise the interest rate is for stabilize the panic in the financial market. Okay, second we go to fiscal policy response. So Malaysia government has made a changes in its fiscal policy to address this crisis. For example, tax incentives were given based on the increase in the value export, and also the government imposed imported duties to the import goods. There are two categories which are completely built up and completely knocked down. Next, capital control. The currency market trading in ringgit remain volatile, and even though we have increased the interest rate, it's not give a better result. So to overcome this problem, the Malaysian authorities implement selective capital control on 1st September 1998. The ringgit exchange rate was fixed at 3 ringgit 80 cents against the US dollar. And the aim for the use of capital control is relate to stabilization of both the currency and also stock markets. And lastly, we go to last factor. It's about dana harta, dana modal and corporate debt restructuring committee. So government implement a financial structuring program in which they create a dana harta which form to remove non-performing loan from the bank balance sheet. Non-performing loans means that bank give a loans to the customer, but the customer has not capable to repay it. Dana modal was formed to recapitalize the low equity banks, and also corporate debt restructuring committee was formed to allow voluntary workout of corporate debt between the shareholder and the creditor, so that viable companies were able to continue their operation successfully. Okay, that's all my research. Thank you.
Okay, allow me to add some information on the crisis, which is on the impact or the aftermath. The first impact on this crisis, as you can see on the growth rate. Okay, the countries that are involved in this crisis are Thailand, Malaysia, Hong Kong and South Korea. This country faced a huge impact from the crisis. For example, the growth rate of Thailand decreased from 6% on 1996 to 0% on 1997. Okay, the economic growth for other countries such as Hong Kong, Malaysia, South Korea contracted between 5% and 8%. Okay, the next impact on this crisis is the depreciation of currency and the stock market fell. Okay, Indonesia, Thailand and South Korea took International Monetary Fund, as we all know IMF, to cover the problem. Okay, this IMF provides significant amount of fund to stabilize the economy. Okay, for example, IMF provide and approve 35 billion US dollar for reform program in Indonesia, South Korea and Thailand. The last impact from this crisis, as we can see from the result of the reform program, it is required the government in those countries to close down loss-making institution and recapitalize the undercapitalized institution, supervise closely the weak institution, and decrease the government development expenditure. That's all from me.
And how to get information on part 2 economic recovery, we just keep on closing together with Fitri. Assalamualaikum Fitri.
Waalaikumsalam Yanis.
Alhamdulillah, thank you for joining us in this news. Okay Fitri, can you share with us about path to economic recovery in Malaysia?
From the path of economic recovery in Malaysia, capital controls seem to bring much stability to Malaysian economy. For Malaysia, an open and export-driven economy, the ability to take advantage of opportunity that globalization provide, maintaining political stability, open-mindedness and transparency culture will be hallmark for a future economic miracle. Based on the research of Faculty of Economic and Administration, University of Malaya, Mahani Zainal Abidin, the recovery in Malaysia in fact start in the first quarter of 1999 when the economy contract by only 1.3%. There are some indicators of recovery in Malaysia, including industrial production, level of interest rate, stock market, and consumer aggregate demand. First, for the industrial production has recovered strongly when it first rose by 4% in 1999. The manufacturing is the driving force with the industrial sector. Second, for the level of interest rate has also decreased by 12% in 1998 to 7% in 1999. Third, for the stock market has also recovered strongly. The Kuala Lumpur Composite Index (KLCI) has increased from 262 points in 1998 to 991 in 2000. Lastly, for the indicator of consumer demand came from increased sales of consumer durable such as vehicle and houses, and also higher collection of sales tax. Thank you from me. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Fitri, for sharing information for us. Despite noticeable improvement in macroeconomic and financial management, the region continues to face a few challenges. First, the prevalence of US dollar denominated debt by regional borrowers. Asian financial system remain bank denominated and heavily reliant on US dollar denominated debt instrument. Excess leverage and imbalance between foreign assets and liabilities could make Asian economics vulnerable to sharp capital flow reversals. Next, policymakers face the challenge to investigate the channels through which nominal exchange rate against the US dollar affect domestic financial condition. Generally, depreciation against the US dollar increases competitiveness, boosts net exports, and support economic growth. However, the financial effect of exchange rate movement can go the opposite direction. Therefore, Asia's policymakers need to carefully monitor sharp exchange rate fluctuation and their economic consequence through both trade and financial channels, and employ appropriate macroprudential tools and capital flow management measures to help mitigate spillovers from changing US monetary policy. The other challenge is rising private sector debt of corporate and household continues to be a concern in several economies in the region. We hope all countries learn lessons from previous Asian financial crises and take any action that can prevent it happen again. Thanks to audience who are loyal with us throughout the news today. Thank you, Dr. Syed Muhammad Rozaimi. Thank you, Nurfarain. That's all the time we have. We will broadcast 8:30 AM tomorrow. I am Errissa, Najwa.
And I'm Riyana. See you again.